Blue. Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to take an exploration through my very own personal world, thanks to a mod called Personal World by Vivasia. Personal World mod gives you your very own world based on your Steam ID. So everyone's personal world is going to be different. So I'm going to do what I can to see as most of this world as possible. I'll try to make a long form series. Try and see as much as possible, every nook and cranny. You know what? Yeah, I'll just let them burn. I get more gold that way. Didn't work. It was a bomb. It's not looking good. Oh, but what is this? It's a really good one. Also, my bomb one has extremely good stats, by the way. All right. Handy dandy tablet. Yeah. Oh god. Just got me. That didn't work the way I wanted it to. Hey, Mr. Hammies, you want some knowledge? Hey, you liked that, didn't you? Give me a moment to work part-time as a teacher in order to earn myself some good gold. Knowledge. Yeah, we'll just let that happen. And then collect the trickle. Ah. Uh-oh. Ooh. Ollie, you get out of the holy mountain. Oh no. Oh god. Oh lord. This is fine. Despite taking a dunk into some acid, things are still okay. It's freezing liquid. Oh, my tablet. That's right. Almost left it behind. I'm sorry, buddy. I got you. There you are, buddy. Oops. Well, I mean, I got him. I shouldn't say oops. Oh my god. Very nice. A broken one. Then we have this. Doesn't matter. Great. Trade successful. That's where I started at. Ooh, another item. Polly. Ah, got stuck. Very eerie music. Kind of just taking it in. Here we have ambrosia. More concentrated mana. All according to plan. god. Alright. I think we've almost seen everything there is to see in the mines. Let's move on. Okay, we get a chainsaw. And the perks, not looking good, but we have a lot of money to reroll with. Right, hear me out. Okay, hear me out. You know what? I can make that work. Then we have this for digging. I will take the heart now, though. Just to be on the safe side. And it's all prepped to start exploring here. Don't like that I'm staying. There we go. Bang, 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 bang. It's almost like we have an invisible attack. Now I wanted to avoid that. We want to take as little damage as possible. Oh, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, not as toxic gas, which is a bit more dangerous than being seen with toxic. Say that. Oh, jeez. Getting the always cast wasn't the worst idea. Only because of the chainsaw. If we didn't have the chainsaw, I would be sad. This linear arc. I can pick up some gold here and there. Nice. quite a lot of range on this, surprisingly. Very nice alternative to using chain bolt. Not to say chain bolt's bad. It's actually really good. But, you know, variety. Alright, get rid of some of this toxic that's all over the place. And get myself some gold. Now, if I can get a teleport bolt somewhere in here, this would be a really good seed. Rain my invisible shots. Please stop doing that. There's a lot of them there. Still just taking in the atmospheric sound. Oh my god, my ghost is here. Okay, it doesn't seem like he has a deadly one though. Killed the firefly. Oh my god, that was a bomb. What does he have, though? Okay, it is nothing super deadly. Cool, now it's teleporting all over the place. Need to get a bubble. Aha. I have the high ground now. Where are you? Where did it go? I just saw him. No, ended up down here. Did he get teleported into the lava? I don't need his wand, but I want his gold. What? Jerk. Oh, hello. Goodbye. Hello. Oh, that worked out. Oh, that's a goblin. That's how that goes. Saw another one. Yeah, there is another one. Oh, More lava again. Okay, getting teleported by a mage is very dangerous. Noted. There's a heart here. Nice. All right, what's that? Probably something here. There could have been the one there, I think. There could have been a chest here. Oh, Scott. Go. Another one for me. Oh, I know this formation. Nice. I know I don't. So when I say formations, the way the game's maps are generated, they have specified shapes. And those shapes have designated points where things like hearts and chests could potentially spawn at. So if you can recognize those shapes, you can have an idea of what you're looking for or what to check out for a potential heart, chest, or anything of the sort. Items as well. So whenever you find a chest, just remember the shape of the area of where you found it. And then over time, you'll start picking up on that same shape appearing more often in relation to getting chests and stuff. Granted, it won't be guaranteed, but it is something to keep an eye on. Hi. Still want to know where my ghost went. So, for example, this shape here. Occasionally there's a chance for a wand to spawn here. And then down below, there's a chance for a chest or heart to be submerged in some water. So if you go down, there's water. Unfortunately, there's no heart or chest or anything. But this is what I mean by recognizing formations. I had recognized this shape, and then I knew below was going to be water where there could be a potential resource for me. Another thing I'm gonna try and do with this series is try and go into my mindset for things and talk about what I normally think when I play. on the note of thinking, uh, well, I'll talk about it more when I get to the Holy Mountain. But there is something that came to mind when I picked up the first wand I got in here. So let's go ahead and head back to the Holy Mountain. This way. So in order to get up with polymorphing, you're gonna polymorph yourself and wait about 6 seconds and then start flying up. That way, the poly duration will time out right when... Where's the statue go? Anyway, the poly timer will time out while you're in the air before the enemy you polymorph into's flight runs out. Because their flight duration is separate from the players. So if you time it right, you can fly up, refill your levitation, and then fly up the rest of the way, repoly again, and then you can get yourself back into the Holy Mountain. Now, as for the first one I found, we have linear arc here, and recently I've been doing a New Game Plus 28 speedrun attempt on my streams. And this is what I consider one of the core spells that I look for early on in the run. All the core spells are basically the core spells I need to find to build a long distance teleport wand. And they're specifically spells that I cannot find in Hell. They're purely RNG based in terms of finding them. Linear arc being the hardest to find of the group because it's the only one of the spells that are in the core spell list that cannot be found through Tekasova. So this is a very interesting find. Next thing we'll do, we have this inverse mana wand. And it has a lot of recharge time that we can't reduce. Something we can still do is this. Maybe not exactly that. Oh, maybe that is fine. So, what I'm doing here is spell wrapping. You serve this well, buddy. And also take this a step further. Or I could do this. Actually, not as good. We're gonna keep using this because it's fun. But I'll take the time to explain spell wrapping as well. But before I can explain spell wrapping, there's some stuff about wands to know first. First of all, is the wand stats. For example, this one has 0.05 cast delay, 0.53 recharge time, A max amount of mana 73, and a mana recharge speed is 275 mana. 5 capacity on the wand, 1 degree of spread. So the main things we're looking at here are Castellate recharge time, mana max, and mana charge speed. Castellate just means every time you cast a spell, it adds 0.05 Castellate between each individual spell. So if I take these two spark bolts, moved on the ground. If I take these two spark bolts, not counting their own Castellate that they add, the one itself will add 0.05 or 0.05 Castellate between each shot. So spark bolts as well also add 0.05. So it takes 0.1 seconds to fire each spark bolt. 0.1 seconds isn't a lot. But you can see that delay there. We had another one. Now, wrapping comes in because of spell blocks. So you have to think of it this way. This one spark bolt is one cast block. I said spell block earlier, didn't I? But cast block. It means when I cast my wand one time, the one spark bolt's gonna come out. If you use a double spell or triple spell or any spell that casts multiple spells at once, it puts all those spells into the same cast block. So if I tap once, spark bolt comes out. If I cast again, the two spark bolts come out after that. So this is one cast block. This is one cast block. And if I put another here, that makes 3 cast blocks. One spark bolt, the double casting 2 spark bolts, and then the last spark bolt. Once the wand finishes casting all the spell cast blocks, I fix my speaking. Once every cast block has been cast, that's when the recharge time kicks in. So as I do that, you get the 0.5 seconds of recharge, which you can see up here. And then the cast blocks are cast again. Spark bolts, well, not spark bolt. Spells that have trigger in it also do the same thing as tuple spells. Whereas if I do this, this is one cast block because this is going to cast this when it collides. And you can kind of hear it with the same rhythm. So if I go back to this, you can hear the 3 shots coming. If I instead do this, you still hear 3 shots. Plus the additional one from the spark bolt coming out of the trigger. And then with this extra space, if I add another spark bolt, you'll hear 4, 5 coming out of the extra spark bolt here. So each noise you hear there is a cast block being triggered. Now, where the chainsaw comes in, chainsaws remove cast delay. So if it's the last spell and the cast block before the wand recharges, then, or well, if it's the last spell or only spell in the cast block, the castellate the wand applies is ignored. So all we get is the 0.53 recharge time, which is actually cut down by the chainsaw itself, which reduces recharge time by 0.17 seconds. So if we do this, the spark bolt comes out pretty much right away. There's no castellate involved, they just shoot and then the wand recharges. You can kind of see it with this as well. Where ordering matters. So that's how it is now. Pretty much the same way it was before. But we put the chainsaw here, the two spark bolts cast almost immediately. That's because the castellate that was coming from the spark bolt is now being removed by the chainsaw because it's coming last in the cast block. So see how they're coming out at the same time? With the spark bolt here, the spark bolt's castellate is being added, and you get a short delay. You get an even bigger delay if we take the chainsaw out. So you can hear the delay between shots. It's a lot longer. If we put the chainsaw here, the chainsaw will make it so that this cast block ignores the castellate from the one itself, but the spark bolt still adds 0.05 castellate into the shot. So the time between each cast block is shortened a bit more, but there's still some delay. Now, in this situation, the spark bolt is adding 0.05 castellate, the one is adding 0.05 castellate, and the chainsaw ignores that completely. And that's how you get both spells casting at the same time. Now for wrapping, the way modifiers, it's like linear arc, tuple spells like this or this, and a couple other spells as well we won't get into right now because I don't have them. They have what is considered a draw. Actually, here we go. Spark bolts as well. They have what's considered a draw. If you think of it like a deck of cards, you have your hand, which is your cast blocks. So cast blocks are your hand, and you cast a spell, you're playing a card in your hand, and once it's played, it's discarded, and then you play the next card in your hand. And then once you've played your entire hand, the wand refreshes, your hand is returned, and you can play your cards again. So when you have a spell that has a trigger, a tuple spell, or a modifier, they draw a spell, meaning they take the next spell in your hand and then they attach it to it. So Spark Bolt attaches to, or the Spark Bolt draws this, and some of this may be a bit off. The terminology is kind of escaping my mind right now, and I'm not exactly looking up the information. But you can find everything I'm talking about on the Noita wiki in much greater detail. But what will happen is, if we put it like this, what do you think will happen? We have 2 cast blocks, and this spell draws 1, but there's nothing to draw because there's nothing after it. So we shoot the spark bolt, we shoot the spark bolt trigger, but a spark bolt still comes out of it. So what happens is, the spark bolt trigger is looking for a spell to draw, but there's nothing here. So rather than refreshing the wand right away, it will instead look through the discarded cards in the order in which they were discarded, and then choose that spell to cast. So this spell is drawn, casted, discarded. The spark bolt is cast. It looks for something to draw. There's nothing here, so it looks here to the discarded card and then grabs that and basically puts it here. So it goes 1 cast block, 2 cast block. Then, being that this is the last cast block on the wand, you get the refresh, and then it happens again. Same thing applies with modifiers. They work the exact same way. 1 cast block, and then 1 with the modifier attached. Same with a couple spell. So you get 1 shot, 2 shot, 3 shot, or casting all 3 through the triple spell. So that is what's considered wrapping. And there's multiple ways you can wrap. The most common one is having the chainsaw first, using a double spell, and then another spell afterwards. What this does is allows you to get the benefits of the chainsaw twice. So the chainsaw has 0.17 recharge time, which means it removes 0.17 from the recharge time of 0.53. Then this spell is cast and then discarded, and then the next cast block is cast, which is the double spell, and then the spark bolt. But the double spell is still looking for 1 other spell to cast, so it wraps around to the discard, which is the chainsaw, pulls it here, and then casts it again. And because it's cast again, remember, the chainsaw being at the end of the cast block means that it ignores the castellate being added by the wand and the spell before it. And it also reduces the recharge time a second time. So rather than 0.017 recharge being reduced, is 0.34 recharge time being reduced. So the recharge time is cut down. Let me grab a calculator. Do some quick math. The recharge time is reduced from 0.53 to 0.19, which is quite a massive drop. And so you can see it on the screen a little bit with the flickering. You can see a short glimpse of the chainsaw being cast by itself, and then there it is. and then the double spell casting the 2 with the chainsaw at the end. Something else about this, which we can't really get to right now, is that hold on. Yeah, something you can't get to right away is ways to further enhance the wrapping. We can't do it right now because we need to be able to reduce the recharge time by more. We can't do that right now. But if I can try and show it, essentially what you can do is this. If you have a wand that has low enough recharge time to where a single chainsaw, or multiple if you have multiple, can bring the recharge time to 0, or not even 0, but low enough to almost get to 0. If you then wrap with another tuple spell or modifier, you can pretty much remove a frame from the wrapping. So this is how it is before, with the recharge time going off. But here we are saving a frame that's only the chainsaw. So before it's chainsaw double with the spark bolt and chainsaw, but there's that initial frame of the chainsaw. Here there is no initial frame, it's just purely this being cast, and then this wraps around to draw the double spell again. The double spell is also looking for 2 spells to draw, so it also draws the other spells that were discarded too. That's how you get this loop. I feel like I talked way too long about this, so we're gonna ignore everything I said, and then we're gonna run around with our chainsaw because it was funny. Anyway, that's a little bit about wands, draw, wrapping. I'm a duck. Let's go. All right, so I still need to get to the Fungal Caverns, and I also still need to find my ghost. I have a feeling that it got teleported into lava and died, but I won't know until I can confirm its corpse. Someone's toxic sludge. I'm gonna punch my way through here. I have to be careful because that's something dangerous. So I'm not seeing a wand. So I doubt that he actually got teleported into lava and died. Some Pokemon battle. The Steel type won. And I won. Ah. I need an answer to this mystery. I need to know what happened to my ghost. It's gonna bother me. And again, my ghost isn't a threat. It doesn't have a deadly wand or anything. But it's worth a lot of gold. So I want him. Hello, hearts. What happened to you? Ah, that's what I was hoping to avoid. Really dicey now. Nice. Alright, so unfortunately we can't look too much around here because we're at risk of death. I mean, technically, if we play it right, we can keep running around. But one wrong move, we're kind of dead. I want to check out that wand. Okay, nothing special. We will get out of here. Now teleportating would be super useful. But we're not going to stress it. So I have to remember I can't really do that one. Cheeky little bit of gold before we go. Let me move on. I probably shouldn't have taken that right away. I probably should have seen what perks we get. I will actually take sausage immunity. And there's a reason for that. The reason is I can get explosion immunity later, and I actually don't want exploding corpses. On the off chance that I do want to make use of not that I want to make use of some enemy's corpse, I won't be able to if I have exploding corpses. So, let's see. This is 0.78 recharge time. This reduces recharge time by 0.25. If we wrap it, that's 0.5. That'll take this down to 0.28 recharge time. If we wrap a chainsaw, that'll take us down to negative recharge time. So if we do this and then wrap with the double spell, no, oh wait, I forgot this. That's right. There we go. And that's the wrapping we talked about before. One thing to know about wrapping, with trigger type spells, anything that reduces cast delay that's inside of a trigger won't get applied. So while the heavy thread will reduce recharge time, it will not reduce cast delay, which doesn't matter because we have a chainsaw. Also, one thing I forgot to speed this up a little bit more, chainsaw goes in front. And that's the difference. Rather than visually seeing it, it's more of an auditory thing you can tell. We can also tell by our mana. If you look, our mana is very slowly draining. But with a chainsaw in the back, it's not as fast, but we're also not running out of mana. So we're gonna do this so it's faster. Because all I have to do is stop firing and then the mana just jumps back up to 100 anyway. And then something we can do as well, we can do this. It's a bit more expensive because it's draining 1 mana per frame. About that much. But again, all we have to do is stop firing and then we're immediately at full. So once again, make use of our chaotic poly. I turned into the one thing that cannot fly. Got it again. There we go. Into the snowy depths we go. Oh, my shot bounced into the explosive. So we have enough firepower to just win the run with what we have right now, but That's not what we do. We want to fully explore this world. There's a sniper up there. Snowy Depths is always a very fast difficulty spike, and the main reason for that, not so much because of the enemies, but because of the open space. Well, partly because of the enemies. But when you have enemies that can attack from outside of your sight range, and combine that with large open areas, that's Polly. You get very tricky situations where an enemy could be seeing and shooting at me from here, and I don't know where they are. Get out of here. So if it's anything, range is very important in Snowy Depths. If you have range, you can deal with most problems safely from a distance. Wow, I was flying on a piece of ice. Hello, wand. One thing though, the other thing is that what happened? Tanks are very bulky enemies to deal with in here as well, especially if you don't have like the type of one I do. Because they're made of metal, they reduce the damage taken from projectiles by quite a bit, and that's why you hold on to the tablet. You just give them a little bonk, and then you don't have to worry about needing damage. You just give them some knowledge. And to safely deal with them, you just want to strafe back and forth, because it takes time for his gun to rotate into position. So if you move enough to keep him looking for you, you can strafe around him enough to land that tablet shot. There's another thing to mention. Most hitsy enemies cannot see directly above Owl. Most hissy enemies cannot see directly above them. So if you come at them from the high ground or from directly below them, they cannot see you. But as soon as you get like into a corner area, they will see you and they will shoot at you. Oh. So this is another formation. You'll see pretty often in Snowy Depths. You want to definitely watch out for them. Unless you come from this area here. There'll be a large sheet of ice, and then directly below will be a hissy boss and a group of little underlings around them. All you have to do is what I did there accidentally and just drop the ice onto them. Because if you come up into them, you got to deal with a lot of enemies from a bad position. So you want to come from above, drop the ice on them to take it, if you can. Ooh, more triplicate bolts. So normally, oh goodness, scared me. Normally there's a route I like to take, especially in the snowy depths. I don't think I'm gonna do it this time, but I will talk about it. Far off to the right of snowy depths, there's a area of terrain, and you can follow it all the way back up to the mountains, the beginning area we started at. So that's a nice early route you can take to get back up to the surface. And it's what I'd like to do to make my way back up to go boss hunting. I'm not going to do that right now, because typically I prefer to have a teleport bolt before I do that, because I don't want to die. And in order to not die, I need to be able to maneuver. Where are you? Oh. So once again, just have a little bit of poly. We wait a little bit, and we start flying up. Oh my goodness. Oh, Steve isn't mad about that. All right. I'm not going to take all of these. I will hold on to this, though. Okay. How did this happen? Yeah, be very careful with the enemies you poly into, because this guy will die if he touches water. So if you poly into him and then land on water, you're dead immediately. Same thing with the firebugs from the coal pits. If you poly into that and you're in water when it happens, you immediately die. Fish as well. If you poly into a fish, you can actually die from fall damage, which is it's the only enemy in the game that can die in that method. It'll also die if it's in contact with concentrated mana. And it's also one of the only enemies where you cannot control yourself when you poly into it. So fish are very dangerous to become your poly. So here's that formation again. And those are the enemies that we dunk the ice onto. Oh god, sniper. If you see this, it looks like a long thin line was cut out. That means there's a worm. If we follow the path, we might be able to find the worm and take him out. You want to be very careful with worms though, because while the giant worms can potentially give you a heart, they also do a lot of damage if you're not careful. There's a typical goal. I'm about ready to make my way out of here because I'm at risk of death. The worm took out the portal over here. You jerk. There he is. It did not drop a heart. It's unfortunate. Okay. Oh, I see a one. Oh, goodness. And that's what I mean by being caught in a bad position at this formation. So it's the same formation as before. I just came at it from like the worst spot. So we take him out, but that could have easily been my death. Another mana. But went and checked out that one. First things first, do that. So we can teleport uninhibited. Perfect. So I have this full health here. And we also have this perk here, Healthy Expiration. This perk is completely busted because I have 40 out of 220 health. If I take it, I get 60 health right off the bat. So I'm at 100. Once I go down into the next area, that's going to be a new area as well. So I end up getting another 60 health from that. So the first time you pick up Healthy Expiration, you get at least 120 health off of that. Granted, I have like 220, so I won't be full health, but if you're lower health, or if I was earlier on, I'd be at full health just off to taking the perk, which means I can leave the full health behind for when I get damaged enough to need to go back. I'm gonna take this one as well. Because this one has a low enough recharge time where I can easily take it out. I don't never have to worry about the castle A. And even though the mana charge speed isn't as high as this, now that I have 2 add mana, it doesn't matter. And I can even completely not need the heavy spread anymore because the recharge time is 0.32. Wrapping with the chainsaw removes 0.34, so I'm going to have negative 0.02 recharge time. So it's the same exact setup. I don't need this anymore, which means I can then add more spells in here. Okay, maybe that was a little bit too much. Yeah, 2 is too much. So technically I could add more. All I would need to do is move the chainsaw here, and then I'll be able to add that third one. It'll still come out fast, but I'll be able to have 3 in there for a short amount of time. But remember, it's not that big of a deal. What I will do though is this. Reduce spread to reduce the spread of the wand. Linear R to add damage to my triplicate bolts. And the cool thing about that is that the triplicate bolts, each individual bolt is considered its own projectile, which means the 5 damage that linear arc is adding is added per projectile. You can see here as well. So it does 5 damage per projectile. It has 3. So if I hit with all 3 of the triplicate bolt, that's 15 damage. With the linear arc, that becomes 10 total damage per projectile. So that goes from 15 to 30 damage per triplicate bolt. Double that with these 2. That means there's 60 damage in this shot. And that's on a per frame basis. It's a lot of damage. Also, now that we have a teleport bolt, we can get rid of our chaotic poly. We're not gonna need it anymore now that we can get in and out of the Holy Mountain on our own. Oh, come on. See how very little effort I need to take enemies down. I don't even need to fire the wand long enough to essentially run out of mana. Oh, you poor guy. Very carefully dispatch foes. Get rid of the lampposts because lampposts are the enemy. Lampposts do a ton of electric damage. Oh my goodness. Oh, well, okay. Poor guy. Poor healer. Oh my goodness. No! Well, there you have it. I didn't see the propane tank that was there. Yeah, I couldn't see it at all. I couldn't see any of them. Well, we'll be back to exploring this personal world of mine in the next episode. I'll simply, because this is gonna be the same world every time, I will get back to the same point with the same stuff, and we'll continue on. So yeah, that's the end of this session, and stay tuned for some more world exploration.